we have started.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm Ruth Swanson, Director of Development at SAIS. Today is Friday, May 27th, 2011. And I am with Mr. Randolph Wilson, who is a member of the SAIS class of 1947. And my first question for you is, how did you come to SAIS in 1947? It was so new.
Well, at first, I was, it's a long story. I was assigned to the commanding general of the division that I was a member of.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no State Department then because everyone had been drafted. And so our division was performing at that time the function of a State Department, I mean, in post-war Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that time I thought that I wanted to be a Foreign Service officer. So I knew that Johns Hopkins School of International Studies had wanted to be the third, like Army and Navy, but only for Foreign Service.
Mm-hmm.
And Congress said, no thanks, we don't want any more service academies. So Johns Hopkins affiliated itself with SAIS, and SAIS became affiliated with Johns Hopkins,
Mm-hmm.
but not was nothing like the Army or Navy Academy of the federal government. So as I said, I thought at first that I wanted to be a Foreign Service officer, but along the way, I thought, at least, that the Foreign Service was as militaristic as the military was,
Mm-hmm.
and so I returned to my original plan of going to law school. I went to Columbia Law School and practiced law for 30 years and
Mm-hmm.
now a retired lawyer.
What type of law did you practice?
Antitrust, that's pro-trust unless you're with the government.
We'd love to hear about your time at SAIS and what you remember of it, and what classes stayed with you, and what's been instructive for you in your career.
Well, one thing that stayed with me was the diplomatic history course of Seagrove Haynes.
Mm-hmm.
And that stayed with me for a long time, simply because it was an inspiring course. It made one think a lot about, government service, and that's what led me to come to SAIS. But while I was at SAIS, I decided to go back to my original plan, going to law school, which I did.
Mm-hmm. How soon after SAIS did you go to law school?
Immediately. I went to SAIS in, I think, 46, 47, and then I went to law school from 47 to 50.
Did you study? So you studied at SAIS for 2 years?
It wasn't 2 years.
Yeah. Those early years, I think that was maybe only have been one.
Yeah,
I think they accelerated it.
It was, and included a summer session.
Mm-hmm.
But
What language did you study?
I took Spanish.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any stories about crazy hours of classes?
I don't have any stories about that.
We've had some alumni tell us about 5 a.m. Arab classes.
Oh, no, I didn't have any of those.
No. Okay. So after SAIS, you went to law school and you practiced law. Is there anything about your career that you think historians would like to know about, that you would like us to know about?
Well, there's nothing unusual about. I just for 30 years I practiced law, and I'm now a retired lawyer. And
Any particular cases that have stayed with you that we'd want to know about?
Was, as I've indicated, my specialty was antitrust, and that means pro-trust if you're not in the government. And so I represented large corporations that had antitrust problems with the federal government.
Have you been following the recent media merges? There's been a lot of talk about these companies getting even bigger. Do you have thoughts on the direction of the size of businesses?
No, I don't have any thoughts.
Yeah. The last question is about advice you have for today's students. What advice do you have for them? What would you like to share with them?
Well, I've always looked back with pleasure on the year that I spent there, or the year plus, I think. And I looked with pleasure on the sort of the academic excellence of SAIS. And it was unexcelled then, and as far as I know, still is.
Wonderful. Anything you would have liked me to ask you?
No.
Okay. And if there's anything else you'd like to share, then we can conclude.
Well, no, nothing occurs to me.
Okay. Thank you so much.
What?
Thank you.